Hi everybody, welcome to the Noctyra Dom show. Today my special guest is Randy, and today we're going to be discussing religion. So do you want to tell everyone a bit about yourself, Randy, before we get into things?
Thank you very much. Hello there, everyone. I'm just a simple guy, really. I'm a 49-year-old semi-retired IT support technician and occultist.
Ooh.
So I have a very deep interest in magic and ancient secret teachings of the old religions. I think hence why Noctyra here decided to bring me onto the first podcast so we could talk about religion, because she knows that, I know. I have read many, many books on many subjects about religions from every corner of the world, and it's very interesting topic.
So, where should we start?
Where should we start? Talking about religion. Ooh. The one subject, it's the two subjects one never brings up at the dinner table, politics.
Oh, yeah, they're the funnest subjects.
And what does Noctyra choose as the first subject to talk about on the first podcast? Yes. So, where should we start with religion? Would I consider myself religious? No. But was I brought up in a religious background? Yes. I think similar to you, we were brought up in like semi-Christian backgrounds, quite strict. So we got the basics Christianity like everybody else did in England. Mine was a bit of Roman Catholicism on one side of my family and then Church of England on the other. And yours was Jehovah's, wasn't it?
Well, and Jewish and Christians.
But we both had a similar background and upbringing, I think, to most people in England, where everything is quite Christian-based.
Yeah.
But we're not necessarily full-blown Christian. No. But in my family, I was an altar boy. Up until I was about 13, 14.
Did you enjoy
quite
it?
Old. No, I hated it.
Why?
Hated every
what was
minute
the
of it.
worst experience?
Being on your bended knee for about an hour and a half, praying.
Oh, God.
to the dead gentleman on the stick, on the wall. So, yes, I've paid my dues in regards to having to pray and do mass after mass and endless processions and prostrating oneself in front of the crucifix and so on. Begging forgiveness for one sin.
Do you think you're a sinful man?
Don't ask me the question. No comments.
No comments.
No
we
comments.
have no comments.
No, I'm a good, clean Christian boy, honestly. But yes, I was brought up that way. But like with most people, you don't really take it too seriously, I don't think, as people did in the past. So we're not super religious because of it. But we learn a bit of a half-decent moral backbone and sort of viewpoints of how you approach life.
Be more respectful.
Yes, exactly. You know, which is what one of the first religions in the world, Christianity and Judaism, taught everybody. Give everybody a moral code to follow.
Wow. Shall we talk about the Bible?
The Bible.
The Bible.
We want to segue from where we were to... I was going to segue to that. You're getting ahead of me. No, it's fine. Okay, so if we want to go directly to what is the Bible and this book that we were all taught as children to read and follow these codes and rules from, well, it's not just one book. And this is, I think, maybe why I'm not such a strictly religious, rule-following Christian as a lot of other people are, because you realise, or I did, that a lot of it is not necessarily, it's not that it's not necessarily true, but this seems to be a combination of more than one book combined together to make one book.
And it was written by multiple people over a long span of time.
As history has shown, I mean, we've got a timeline of it here, if I can quickly show. So if we can see on there, that little, where is it? Which bit is it? So we see that the main story of this character in the Bible, in the second half of the New Testament, Yeshua, when he lived, is that little red bit. All the stories about him, all these other things, all the New Testament, all the Gospels, all written well after he lived, all by various different people. Now, what I noticed with the Bible as a child is you grow up as a young kid thinking that this is one solid text written by one person with one objective, but actually, no, it seems not. And the older you get in life, the more history that you read, we start to learn that there's a lot of politics involved with how that book was created, why it was created, and where all of these stories come from. So, yes, I think Noctyra, apologies, is a bit like myself in that we learned to appreciate some of the basics of those books, but we didn't take it implicitly, inherently, as maybe our parents and forefathers did.
Yeah.
And believe it outright. Obviously, had a Jehovah's Witness kind of upbringing with certain members of the family, and we all know how pushy they can be with their viewpoints on the world and how terribly stupid the rest of us are if we don't believe it. And we're all...
You should tell me not to mention her on this podcast.
It's fine. But we know I have some who live close to me. I have neighbours who are similar. Oh, according to them, we're all doomed. Apparently, we're all just doomed to terrible sinners. Yes. But look, these people want to believe what they want to believe, and if you want to believe... Yeah.
Everyone's entitled to
we all can have a different interpretation of these books and these texts. Yes, I was one of those people that learnt, or I felt that there was far more to those stories in those books than I was actually being told. As I've said, that the older you get, you start to realise, oh, well, yes, like we see with this timeline, it was not written by one person. There are many questions to be asked in how that book was created and why it was created. And I find that's a very deep and interesting subject. I'm sure in the future we could go even deeper with this.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Much deeper.
So, what is your favourite part of the Bible?
I don't know. I suppose, as a kid, one of the things that attracted me to reading stuff, I always had a fascination with fantasy. I was always a big Star Wars, Lord of the Rings fans. Into comic books and fantasy heroes and so on. Just like any normal man, any normal boy growing up, where, you want to be Superman, Batman, Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. You want to be the hero, the White Knight who saves the day.
Don't tell me you wanted to be God.
No. I'm not. I was never that egotistical. Obviously, we all have delusions of grandeur to a certain degree, but do I want to be God? I don't know. Well, personally, I think we're all God, subjecting itself subjectively, experiencing itself subjectively. A bit like the viewpoint of Bill Hicks, if you've heard of Bill Hicks. Great comedian from the 90s. Check him out. Check out Bill Hicks' stand-up. Rest in peace, Bill. God, we miss you. But he does a very good bit about his opinion on what he thought reality was, and I agree with him.
Oh, what was it? Go on.
Well, okay, so in the skit, he does a joke about why there are no positive drug stories on the news. Like, why are all the drug stories always negative? So he's like, why can't we imagine a scenario where, imagine on the news one day, a positive drug story. So today, a young man on acid realised that we're all merely energy condensed to a very slow vibration. And they're all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There's no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we are the imagination of ourselves. And now here's Tom with the weather. It's a silly joke. Bill Hicks does it better justice than I just did. But the whole premise of the joke is that the way that we're all brought up to believe what we are and who we are and why we're here. Yes, my belief on that is that if you want to be God, maybe we all are actually God. Have you ever considered that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively? That everybody's God. So we've all been made to forget it.
I like to think it's like the Truman Show.
Does that mean that I want to become God because I believe that we're all actually singular parts of God, and collectively together that is the consciousness of God? Does that make me want to be God? I
believe in the Matrix. Yeah.
We believe in the Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
So, you're buying into simulation theory.
Oh, I am.
See, I do a little bit. There's a part of what one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. That could be part of a Matrix simulation. Why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
Anyway, are we making sense here? Does any of this make sense? I don't know. I do with the people who are watching this thinking, what are you talking about? Whereas other people who are watching this thinking, no, he's absolutely on the money.
I shouldn't have got stoned first.
But what do you expect?
Yeah.
Look at her. Of course she's a bad girl. And of course she has crazy people like me as her friends.
So did you even tell me what your favourite part of the Bible was?
No, we went off on a tangent. I do apologise. Favourite part of the Bible. So the point was I had this fascination as a kid with fantasy. So the bits that attracted me, I first remember in the Bible, is the bits that I remember where you read about miracles and angels and demons and dragons and weird things. You're like, what is this? It's like real life Lord of the Rings in the Levant.
In the Levant.
What is this? Angels and demons falling out of the sky. So obviously, yeah, those bits fascinated me as opposed to the boring bits.
That's something we should talk about.
The boring bits.
No, the different angels, like the Watcher angels with all the eyes and stuff.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know that.
What, the orphanim? No, now you're really going deep. The multi-eyed.
Let's tell the audience about all the different angels.
We want to talk about all the different angels in the Bible. I don't know all the different angels, but as a basic overview, the story of the angels and demons, when you look at the original, this is the bit I find interesting anyway, is when you look at the original translations, where we get what we call angels and demons from. The original Greek word, the word that the Greeks used. So the Greeks had the Aramaic text, and then they translated it into Greek. And what in Aramaic, the Jews call angels and demons. The Greeks use the word archons. Okay, and the Aramaic and Hebrew word is similar. I can't remember what it is. It's the Elohim.
Oh, Elohim.
Okay, which is the children. It literally means the children of El. Okay. And then the Greek translation seems to call it, they refer to them as the archons, which is a Greek word for the controllers. Okay? Now, if we go back in time to the Sumerian and Babylonian texts, which came before the Bible, they talk of the Anunnaki coming down to Earth and breeding with mankind. And it seems to be a very similar story. They call them the Anunnaki or the Watchers. That same story seems to have got then changed into what the Jews and Hebrews referred to as the Elohim. Then the Greeks later then called them the Archons. Later then we changed that into angels and demons. When you understand how that translation has changed throughout time, well, what we think of angels and demons actually, in the past, would have been considered something very, very different. And it gives a very different spin on how we see these things. So, the Christian way of looking at it is there's a pantheon of angels, isn't there? There's all different types. There's like a hierarchy of them.
Yeah, because you've got the archangels.
Yeah. Well, at the very top are the archangels.
And then the 144.
Right, there we go. Yeah. It's the saved few at the bottom. And then there's other ones in between. What a lot of people don't understand is the pantheon of demons on the opposite side. It seems to have a connection. It's like a mirror image of it. So when you find this in studying Kabbalistic magic, and the ancient tradition of Hermetic Gnosticism. So in these ancient esoteric magical traditions where you can learn the powers of God, there is in Kabbalistic magic, which is derived from the Bible. So basically what they did was there were a lot of rabbis that hundreds of years ago this was now, when they reread the original Torah and found that there was another code, there was a code. It basically used what's a code system called gematria, where every letter is assigned a number. And using a various system of, it's kind of like the system that Freemasons use with ciphers, they saw that there was another hidden story written in the Bible, okay, which you can only understand if you have the hidden code. And they said that there was a hidden code where using that you could get this whole other secret story. And that gave us the tradition of the Kabbalah, where this is deep, weird, strange stuff, where basically the view of God splits into this pyramid system of dark and light.
Yeah, usually you can find that.
And there's this pantheon of angels on one side, and then 72 demons of the Grisha in the realm of Klipoff on the other side. Okay. That's a Christian, secret, esoteric Christian viewpoint looking at it. And then the Bible kind of simplifies that. So we just end up with Michael, Gabriel,
Raphael,
right?
Samael.
Yes. Whereas in the esoteric, from the esoteric viewpoint, there's much more detail added to that. And like I said, if you go back in history and look at some of the other ancient texts, so the Sumerian ones and the Babylonian texts, they have stories which are very, very similar. It's just they have slightly different names.
What was that book called? Is it the 8 Kings?
Oh, you're on about the Sumerian Kings
That's
list.
That's it, yeah.
Which talks of kings living through thousands of years who are apparently our ancestors.
Story from that.
I think we'd have to, no, I'm not going there with that. I'm not.
Dig it up, people.
Yeah.
Let's research this shit.
Have a read and a look into it yourselves. I don't feel I'm expert enough to really give my opinion, and I'd need to do it. I'd need to prepare more for us to discuss that subject and go a bit deeper. But as a basic overview on these matters, there you go. There's kind of my general opinion on these things. No, I'm fine. Thank you. Eating nuts.
Eating nuts, talking about religion.
Exactly. It's nuts in the mouth. It's just my brain. See, you asked me if I was a sinful man. Don't do that to me. Don't give me that. Don't give me the opportunity. Open goal, innuendo. I'll accept the open goal. Angels, that's what I'm trying to concentrate on. Like I said, there are very many different ways of looking at what we got taught were supposed angels and demons. There are very many different versions of this story, and it seems to have changed over time from something in the past. So these seem to have been based, at least half based, on other stories from the past, whereas a Christian and especially Orthodox ones and Orthodox Jews, no, as far as they're concerned, the book was written by Paul, Mark, whoever,
Luke, John.
Yes. And it has no connection, and yet it absolutely does. So
that's another thing I want to discuss.
So here's another connection to those ancient texts when we look at the flood story. Story in the Bible. Everyone thinks that's an original story. No, it's in the Epic of Gilgamesh.
I was going to say that's been copied and pasted.
Yes, that story is in the Epic of Gilgamesh, and the character of Utnapishtim, if I remember correctly,
an archaeologist will tell you
Noah.
It was like way before humans were even.
Subject in because, especially over recent years, we've discovered so much more, especially in regards to hidden texts that we're able to translate now, that we never had as kids. We just had the Bible, didn't we? We had so many different versions of it, and you didn't have the internet. Now,
there is one thing.
We know so much more, and it's Tim into a bit of an obsessive with the subject.
There's one thing that I think we should talk about.
Go on.
How England Christians think Jesus is white. If Jesus was real, from where he lives, he would have been of brown skin. He wouldn't have been white. Jesus would not have been white.
No, Jesus was, he spoke Aramaic.
But
we lived around the Sea of Galilee, so...
I read somewhere
go to Israel
that
and have a look at
Jesus that we see is actually a painting.
Yes, well, you beat me to...
I beat him to it.
No, I think, what Noctyra was referring to is, obviously, we all know the standard picture of Jesus.
But
of
it's
Yeshua with his beard, and the white skin and the long hair. And obviously we've seen depictions galore throughout time of artists all showing this white guy, hair sent apart in beard. And a lot of historians eventually like to ask, well, this doesn't seem to make sense, does it? Because as I've just said, if the guy spoke Aramaic, he's from Galilee, he's a Hebrew Jew in Judea.
He'd be far from white.
Yeah. Not many Caucasians living there, is there?
None.
No. These people are Semites. It's fine, right? It's like Eskimos who live in their part of the world. They have a certain skin colour and a certain physical makeup. The majority of them saying these genetic traits that have been born about because they live in that part of the world. Like, why do black people have darker skin than white people? It's not rocket science. These things are basic.
Are you going to tell him who the painter?
Genetic is. So, yes, wait. So it didn't seem to a lot of people, a lot of historians especially, and experts on this matter, over many years were arguing, like, why is this guy always depicted as being this white guy with a beard? Who is this guy? Well, and this shows how the effect that the politics has on religion and the religion has on politics and how the two are absolutely connected. It seems there was another period in history where there was a pope, a famous pope, created a TV series regarding the whole thing. Have you ever seen it?
No.
The Borgias.
No.
You never watched the Borgias.
I've never seen it, no.
If you like Game of Thrones and you like Machiavellian intrigue, oh my God, watch the Borgias. It's fantastic. So, trying to remember the name of which pope it was now. I forget his name. Alexander Borgia, was it his name was? He changed his name to Pope, I don't know, Pope Innocent or whatever. It wasn't Pope Innocent, but they always change the name, don't they, once to become Pope. Well, it turns out that this Pope, this was the time when the famous Niccolo Machiavelli, the Mr. Practitioner of shenanigans behind the scenes, was was alive. Basically, Machiavelli seemed to, and other families in Italy seem to, in conjunction with the Borgias, basically seem to push their way into power and then get rule of the Vatican from that point onwards. And not long afterwards, lots of artwork around Europe all started to be produced, and it all seemed to show this same depiction of Jesus, of Yeshua, this man from the Sea of Galilee, and looked very, very, very similar to the Pope Borgia's son, Cesare Borgia, another very famous man in history. And yes, it seems that there seems to have been this idea that we've got of what Yeshua supposedly looked like. A lot of the depictions that we've got used to viewing him as, especially with white skin, actually comes from a time when the Borgias were propagandizing everybody and were just literally trying to insert themselves as the tyrannical rulers of Europe and beyond, literally painting themselves as Jesus. And we've got historical proof of that, especially with some of the pictures. Like, literally,
Well,
it
yeah,
says...
but it doesn't take a rocket science.
Yes, it's not.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this image that we seem to have of this man Yeshua may not be true. It's probably absolutely not. Might have had a beard and looked similar, but he certainly wasn't a white Caucasian guy. No. So anyway, there you go.
Ooh,
I'm getting as bad as you now. I'm not that old. I've been a good boy today, thank you very much. But apologies. Like, sometimes I find we always find this when we're having conversations with each other, and I've found this throughout my life. People start asking to talk to you about deep subjects. When it comes to explaining those subjects, sometimes I have to go on for 5-10 minutes, and by the time we get to the end of that 10 minutes, I actually forget where the bloody hell I started.
Yeah.
So apologies.
Angels, that was it. But
there you go. But I hope that helps to clarify a little bit with the younger generation, maybe, who aren't aware of these things. Yes, these things that we are brought up on. These ways that we're told to view the world, especially in regards to religion and politics and history, aren't always necessarily true.
No.
Just like you find out.
Yeah. So that's another thing.
Like when you get to 6 years old and realise, the tooth fairy, it's not real, is it?
Yeah.
And
don't Google things that you want to learn, because Google's not a fact checker.
Sorry, children. I do apologise, right? I hate to be the breaker of dreams.
All lies.
Santa's not real. Okay.
Santa's not real.
There you go.
And neither is the tooth fairy.
I'm not saying that Yeshua was not real.
Yeah, no.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is his image.
Yeah, he wasn't white. That's not
and
real.
His being and his whole life story has been hijacked. And other people have used that story for their own purposes. And I find it very interesting now. It's quite obvious now how that's been done. Whereas in the past, people just, no, for hundreds of years, people believe Jesus. His name's Jesus. It means him Jesus. Jesus is a Spanish word. Nobody was called Jesus in the Sea of Galilee, in the land of Judea, and Cana and Canaan. What are you talking about? Said it's
been changed a lot.
A lot of things change, and like I said, a lot of things you learn in life at a younger age. Be prepared for that. The older you get in life, if you're of a younger persuasion, if you're younger than Noctyra and I. You're in your early youth and enjoying life and loving it and thinking, oh, I know everything. I've got my whole life in front of me. I'm great. I'm fantastic. Be prepared for those times in life when you come across those pieces of information and you have those little Luciferian moments, like a light bulb moment. And you go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Actually, that thing that I believed was this for all these years. Shit, actually, I was wrong. No. Yeah, get used to that. It's one thing I wish I was taught more of when I was younger, that you're going to get that lots and lots in life. Be prepared to be wrong on stuff, because things change every day. New information comes out every day. And a lot of these things that we're taught, as I said, they're not taught to us for the right reasons. A lot of these things are drilled into us for proper reasons, for propaganda reasons, because people have a hidden agenda.
Well, all that everyone does these days, don't they? Bloody governments and shit. But we won't go into politics today, everybody. No. Not today.
Yes, we can go into the esoteric side
we'll do a different
certain aspects
politics.
of Christianity. But yeah,
I won't get stoned next time.
If we're going into the deep secret world of the political world, I don't think you're ready for that yet. Well, I don't know. Maybe half of you are. Well, this is the first show.
Oh, it is.
It's the first little chat. So.
Yeah.
We'll start it off slowly.
So it's coming to the end of the time, everybody.
Really? So not that long. What time? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we hope you enjoyed the first video. Next time I won't be so stoned and I'll be more talkative. But yeah, we've had an interesting time.
We have. I've had a great time.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a perfect little introduction.
Ciao from us.
Bye.